In 1935, the California Pacific International Exposition was held in Balboa Park in hopes of recovering from the Great Depression and to help San Diego's economy. As part of the expo, the Old Globe Theatre was originally built to present abridged versions of Shakespeare's plays. The shape of the theatre was modeled after Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London from the early 1600s. The wood and construction materials of the Globe were actually taken from a previous theatre across the River Thames, where the landlord planned to cancel the lease and tear the building down. The Globe could house 3,000 spectators and performed many of Shakespeare's plays, including Hamlet, King Lear, and Macbeth. One fateful performance of Henry VIII in June of 1613 involved a cannon firing gunpowder with wadding at the end of Act 1 to announce the arrival of the king. A piece of wadding set fire to the thatched roof of the Globe, and the structure burned to the ground within 1 hour. In 1978, the same fate befell the Old Globe Theatre in Balboa Park. This one, however, was intentional and caused by an arsonist. It was only 2 months after the Air and Space Museum was also burned by arson. Both were considered 3-alarm fires. To learn more about 3, 4, or 5-alarm fires, search for and watch the San Diego Review on the Firehouse Museum after this one. As with the Globe Theatre, the Old Globe was rebuilt and even has 2 additional theatre venues where shows can be performed. One is a theatre in the Round, and the other is an outdoor stage used during the summer. The Old Globe Theatre opens its doors to a behind-the-scenes tour of how productions are created and what it takes to support the actors performing on stage. In the center of the lobby is a bust of Craig Noel, dedicated to him on his 90th birthday. He became the general director of the Old Globe early on, personally directing over 200 works and producing over 270 more. He led the theater for 7 decades and earned the National Medal of Arts, the highest award given to artists by the United States. Also displayed in the lobby is a Tony Award earned by the Old Globe for Outstanding Regional Theater. One wall has a collection of photos displaying all the work done to create shows at the Old Globe, from props, technical support, and rigging to the costume designers, woodwork, and sound engineering. A combination of skills are needed to support the actors and everything that goes on within the theater. The Old Globe Theatre seats 580 people and has what is called a proscenium stage. This means a picture frame or arch surrounds the stage, allowing for props and scenery to be hidden from the audience. The proscenium type of stage allows the audience to have a good view of the actors, who primarily perform in front of the arch on a raised platform called the apron. Scenery that is added behind the arch or picture frame creates a sense of depth for the audience. A thrust-type stage has the audience sitting on 3 sides of the performers and creates a strong sense of immersion in the performance. Actors have flexibility in their movement up and down the stage, but careful consideration needs to be taken so that props or scenery do not block the view of the audience. An arena or theater in the Round is the configuration of the Old Globe's second indoor stage, as we'll see later. It creates immediacy and intimacy for the audience sitting around the actors, and has no places to hide props, scenery, or performers from the audience. A black box theater is normally a simple setup with black walls and a flat floor. It focuses more on the human element of acting and less on the technical elements of production. Seating arrangement often resembles a thrust stage or arena setup. An open-air stage is the configuration for the Old Globe's third venue. The audience benefits from seeing the natural beauty of the surrounding area, but must contend with the weather and noise, such as planes or helicopters flying overhead. The second-floor balcony surrounds the orchestra level, and the catwalk above the ceiling allows for lighting or speakers to be set up for each stage production. The area in front of the first row can be used as the orchestra pit. To coordinate the performers with the orchestra, monitors are mounted on the balcony which display the cues from the conductor. This allows the actors to keep their sight directed at the audience while synchronizing their performance with the music. The stage itself is a revolving stage set on upside-down casters. It allows for quicker scenery changes and keeps the attention of the audience involved in the story, rather than concentrated on the time it takes to change backgrounds. There is a small diorama backstage that shows a revolving setup of the Old Globe's Festival Theatre outside. We can see how it transports the audience from the exterior of the house to the interior and back again. The armrests of the chairs have names of people or businesses who have supported the Old Globe. The control booth hides behind the last row of the audience on the lower level. The stage manager will call all the cues from here. The soundboard for microphones and speakers is also behind the last row. The sound technician can hear what the audience hears and make adjustments. On the corner of the stage is a stand with a single light bulb. Do you know what this is for? When a theater is not being used, all the lights and power are turned off. All except for a single light called the ghost light. The practical application of the light is to prevent injury by providing workers or crews with a means to navigate a darkened theater. An elevated stage or orchestra pit are clearly dangerous in the dark. As the name suggests, the ghost light is also thought to scare away or appease spirits or ghosts to ensure they don't cause mischief or havoc. The superstition is that actors and crew who have worked in the theater before are still present and haunt the premises. Their intention is either to complete performances they never finished or cause chaos by rearranging the props, lighting, or fixtures in the theater. If you are interested to hear more about the paranormal, search for and view the San Diego Review on the Whaley House after this one. The ghost light also had meaning during the pandemic, standing as a symbol of hope to return to the theater once it was safe. From here we leave the Old Globe Theater, walking and exiting around stage left toward the scene shop backstage. Walking around the corner, we see the tall ceiling that permits large sets created from the shop to be brought on stage. The shop has roll-up doors and windows to the outside. A giant green face dominates the upper wall. It looks similar to the Statue of Liberty, but if you know what it is or which play it's from, put it in the comments below. A miter saw is on the left to cut wood to the correct length. On the other side is another saw with metal, wood, and other supplies stored on the upper level. There are drawers in the back of the workshop full of parts, screws, or fasteners for assembling set pieces. The scene shop has its own Mona Lisa and other scenery items that decorate the walls. They must be favorites of the crews that created them, and kept as a memento of past plays at the Old Globe. The roll-up door near the stage is high enough to allow a scaffold to roll through. The same goes for the other roll-up door leading to the outside. This high door can be slid open, granting access to the stage. The crew has a ramp or drawbridge to roll scenery out at exactly the same level as the stage itself. Walking down another hall from the scene shop, we turn into a doorway and find ourselves backstage. It's a little disorienting because everything is painted matte black. This is to eliminate reflections or glare for the audience and reduces the distractions backstage for the performers or crew concentrating on their roles during the production. All the ropes and pulleys seen on the left are part of the theater's fly system or rigging system. These lines allow for the stage crew to quickly fly in or out objects during the production, such as curtains, lighting, and scenery. The fly system can be thought of as a seesaw or teeter-totter. The playground ride works best when the children's weight is close to being in balance. In the same manner, a fly system balances the weight on one side of a rope with the weight of the scenery or lighting on the other. Instead of a fulcrum in the center, a series of pulleys acts as the balance point in between the rope ends. Here are all the pulleys in what's called the grid above the stage. At one end is the batten or metal rail with scenery or equipment attached. This batten has lighting and is flown in toward the stage for easy access. The other end of the rope has an arbor, essentially a frame or metal box that houses counterweights on the rope. Larger weights are typically 40 pounds and the smaller weights about 20 pounds. Maintaining a good balance between the batten and the arbor weights ensures smooth operation when flying scenery in toward the stage or out to the fly space. Winding our way downward, we see drop cloths and audio-video cables. Walking by motion controllers on a shelf, we turn to our left to arrive at the trap room, which resides underneath the stage. Performers or props can be transported down from or up to the stage floor and are usually accompanied with use of a fog machine to obscure the transition to make it appear magical. It is quite dark down here, and reading the labels overhead is almost impossible, especially if a fog is present. There are many wires and cables in the trap room. Most, if not all, are associated with microphones and sound for the performers. A sound technician can place a microphone on each actor here prior to them ascending through the trapdoor on stage. Adjacent to the trap room is part of the props department. Here are books, which look like a mini library. There is a cage which has swords, a few prop guns, and a variety of other prop weapons to be used in stage productions. A photo shows more props from past productions. In the foreground is a hobby horse, the Statue of Liberty, and a bust of William Shakespeare on a throne. On the way to the costume shop is an opossum posing on top of a car hood. The license plate explains it as prop art, as opposed to pop art. In the Old Globe's costume shop, everything the performers wear, except for the shoes, is made. If it's not created here, it can be purchased outside or rented from another theater company. The costume designer works closely with the show director to create initial sketches of a costume that will support the plot of the play and serve to tell the story of each character portrayed by the actors. The draper will consult with the designer to choose the fabric, create the patterns, and fit the actors so that costumes can be worn without hindering movement. Muslin fabric is used to quickly get an idea of what a costume will look like. The stitchers work on the actual construction of the costume and may assist during fittings with pinning and alterations. Next to the main theater, we enter the lobby of the Old Globe's Theater in the Round, or Arena Theater. Immediately after passing through the lobby door, we turn right and emerge into the Arena Theater, which seats 250 people arranged in a circle around the center stage. There are 2 passageways, or vomitoria, for the actors to enter or exit on opposite ends of the space. An advantage of this configuration gives everyone in the audience a good seat with a clear view of the stage. It also allows for more interaction between the performers and audience. A downside for the actors is that it's almost impossible to hide a prop or object from the audience. Wherever they face, their back will always be turned towards the opposite side of the arena. Real food is often used here as the close proximity makes prop food look like prop food. It's a coincidence that this play is about MSG in food. There's a catwalk above and places to mount lighting and speakers if needed. It doesn't appear to have a fly system for scenery as we saw in the main theater. The control booth can be seen at the top right behind the last row. All cues will be called by the stage manager from there, and they, like the audience, are close to the performers in this arena theater setting. The Lowell Davies Festival Theater is the outdoor theater venue positioned to the right of the other 2 indoor theaters. As we exit the arena theater, we walked a short distance to the side entrance of the open-air theater. It's used during the summer months and can fit a large capacity audience of 620 people. The lack of a proscenium or picture frame around the stage allows guests to appreciate the natural backdrop of trees under the open sky. The wires that crisscross overhead are used to hang lights or other equipment above the audience. The first outdoor theater on site was called the Festival Stage. When it burned down in 1984 by arson, the current Festival Theater was built. The stage has a single trap door, and all the wooden poles supporting the catwalks and spotlight boxes are fire-treated wood. High above the audience, there are 3 small catwalks with a box railing around each. These are where the follow spot operators work for the duration of a show. Considering this theater is outdoors, not only do they contend with the height, but also with the wind and weather while perched behind the spotlights. As expected, the control booth is behind the glass windows. In this theater, the animals from the San Diego Zoo can be heard during some performances, but there's no control for that. Many shows premiered at the Old Globe Theater, gaining popularity in San Diego and going on to play on Broadway. Into the Woods premiered in 1986 at the Old Globe and did just that, even being adapted into a Disney movie in 2014. Dr. Seuss lived in San Diego, and the theatrical version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas has been performed as a holiday tradition since 1998. The behind-the-scenes tour pointed out a safe room for kids in the back of the theater where the Grinch cannot enter. In 2014, Steve Martin and Edie Brickell created a musical called Bright Star, which premiered at the Old Globe Theater and also went on to Broadway. The idea for the musical was based on a true event that happened in 1902, where a baby was discovered in a suitcase thrown from a train. The baby was bruised but survived, and the event was used in the lyrics written by Edie Brickell to portray the difficult choices people sometimes have to make. The choice is easy if live theatre attracts your interest, as the Old Globe Theatre has been a fixture in Balboa Park for almost a century and will remain a creative venue of the performing arts for many years to come. If you enjoyed this video, make this channel grow for free. Click like, share it with others, and click the all-important red button to subscribe. Thanks for watching San Diego Review.